What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marvel of a Matter back with another video. And today what I'm going to talk about is the number one advantage you have as a handsome man, right? The number one advantage you have as a handsome man as it pertains to dealing with women. So recently, Mr. Lucario and I have been going back and forth. He did a video talking about Handsome Man's Game. I responded. He responded to my response. I will probably do a response to his response, but it won't be the same as the first one. I'm not doing the hour-long videos going back and forth. I think it just takes too long. I think we should have like a live debate, so I might reach out to him, see if that's something he's interested in doing. But if not, I'm gonna do my last video kind of just highlighting some points that he made, and that'll probably be that. But in his last response video, he did say something that kind of stood out to me. He was really harping on the fact that if you're handsome, he said, it really doesn't get you anything extra with women. It really buys you maybe 5 seconds. And I've heard this before. There's another content creator that says this. He kind of made that famous. And it's like, that has some truth to it, right? So basically, you have to have the same qualities that anybody else has to have, right? You have to still be charismatic, still be sexy, still be, intelligent, still be not putting her on a pedestal, still be like all those things. And that's true. You still have to have all those things. Those things still have to be a part of you, right? To an extent. Now, the benefit of being handsome partially is that you don't have to have it to the same extent, right? You don't have to have as much because you're going to get leeway. Like the way he's downplaying the impact that being handsome has on some women. Now, this is not going to be all women, right? I will agree with that. All women are not going to respond to you that way. But there are some women who will respond to you that way. And typically the women who don't respond to you that way, the ones who require you to actually really still have game, really still have all the intangibles on top of being handsome, are the women who are older. If y'all seen the video I posted, the last video I posted, in the middle I have a section where I'm playing a TikTok, and it's of this woman who's a bit older, right? I think she's in her 30s. Good looking woman, but she's older now. And what she was saying in the video was basically when she was younger, she would kind of just let guys do whatever if they were handsome. Like they didn't really have to, abide by her rules or whatever, right? She would just kind of deal with them because she thought they were good looking, and that was enough for her to bend her rules and to do, kind of whatever just to be with them. But as she got older, she said in her late 20s, early 30s, or however old she was, that changed. And she's like, I don't care how good you look, you still also have to have these other qualities. You still have to also do these other things, right? Now, she may be talking about treating her right and, being committed and, making the move on her and being the one to approach her. And those might be the things that she was talking about, but that applies as well when it comes to who you actually are, right? So typically with younger women, if they find you attractive, and this is the number one advantage, they will be infatuated with you. Infatuated. Now that's something that Mr. Lucario seems to be ignoring, and something that I have not talked about myself. So I do want to talk about it, and that's the infatuation, right? Some girls, especially younger girls, will see you and just be infatuated with you. So what does that mean? It means they're not seeing you clearly for who you are. So let's say you are, they think you're handsome, but you do have some insecurities, right? You are a little anxious. An older woman, if she sees that, she's going to see you as insecure and anxious, right? Or some woman who doesn't find, if a guy is like that and the woman doesn't find him attractive, she might see him as, anxious and, nervous or awkward, whatever it is. And it's going to be hard for him to hide that, right? He's not going to just be able to kind of be cool, lay in the background and pass as being confident. But if he's dealing with a woman who's infatuated with him, a younger woman who's infatuated, or even an older woman if she's infatuated with him, he doesn't really have to do as much. He doesn't have to be as confident. I know this personally because for a long time, up until I was 26, I was in and out of being confident with women. Sometimes I would be, sometimes I wouldn't be. But it didn't really matter because as long as I didn't come off as overtly nervous, overtly anxious, the women that were infatuated with me really couldn't tell, right? And it would take like, and I've said this before in a video where I talked about like the types of guys women are attracted to. I was the handsome guy who didn't have, you know, the sex appeal. I was the handsome guy who didn't have the charisma, who didn't have all that. Right? I have my own natural kind of charisma, natural charm, whatever. I'm not like a super socially awkward person, but I was not socially confident. And when I got around girls, I was sort of nervous and was sort of like, I don't know what to say. That was definitely me. And in those situations, as long as I just stayed quiet, as long as I didn't really, show too much, didn't really reveal too much, I just kind of played it cool, regardless of how I felt on the inside, the physical attraction would lead to sexual attraction, right? It would lead to sexual attraction very, very quickly. Now, after about a month, month and a half, they would realize like, oh, he's not what I thought he was. But that's about the time the infatuation wore off, right? Because that in that beginning stage, in those beginning stages, if a woman finds you really, really physically attractive, she's going to be infatuated with you. So she's not going to see you for who you actually are. She's going to see you for who she wants you to be. And that's something that is the number one benefit of being a handsome guy, right? Of being a guy that women think is handsome. So you don't have to necessarily have your game on lock, right? You just have to have, you want to be confident, right? Of course, I'm not telling you don't be confident, but that is a difference. You don't have to be super confident. You don't have to have a crazy mouthpiece, have to have crazy charisma. If she finds you handsome and she's infatuated with you in that way, if you really just be cool, just relax, just chill, right? Have regular conversations with her, things will progress naturally because she wants them to progress, because she's infatuated with you. She likes the way she sees. She wants to be around you. She wants to be with you. She wants to experience you. So if you just allow her to do that, right, without being weird, without doing anything that's like an ick for her, like just kind of remain cool, calm, collected, be yourself, you know what I'm saying? But like, don't feel this pressure to perform. Don't feel this pressure to like be charismatic, this pressure to be, have a crazy mouthpiece, this pressure to be like overtly confident and show your confidence. And like, you don't have to do all that. If you really watch guys who women go crazy over, they are calm and cool and chill. They are nonchalant. I promise you. I've said this before. I'm gonna say it again. They are nonchalant. They're not loud and charismatic and outgoing and, the most, confident guy in the room that's just radiating confident. Like, they're not like, they be chill. They be kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And the girls just like them because they like the way they look. And these guys have figured out, all right, I don't really have to do too much. If I'm just chill, there's nothing wrong is going to happen. Like, it's going to escalate to where it needs to escalate to, because she wants that. She's a human being. She's a woman who likes men that are physically attractive. And she's going to want to sleep with them the same way that we see a woman that's physically attractive and we want to sleep with her. Like, yeah, could you see a woman who you like, whatever, but then she does something to turn you on and you get turned on, and then you're like, ooh, I like her, right? I want her. Yeah, that can happen. And that's what happens with, average guys who have game and sex appeal and charisma and all this stuff. Like, the woman seeing them doesn't think anything, but then if he does something to turn her on, of course, she's going to be into it. She's going to be sexually attracted to him. But the girl that you see and you just naturally, automatically are just like, dang, she look good. She don't really have to do anything to get you to that point. If left unchecked, you will get yourself to that point, right? If she allows it, you will get yourself to that point. She doesn't have to do anything to turn you on. And it's the same thing with men. If a woman sees a man who already looks physically attractive, she's going to be like, ooh, I want it to happen. And as long as you don't do anything that messes that up, it's going to lead to that. But the thing is, the difference is, and this is why people confuse it and think women don't care about looks, is because they get the ick a lot easier than us, right? They will be turned off a lot easier than we are. They are turned off a lot easier than we are. So for us, if a girl really looks good, she would really have to do some like, for most guys, she would have to do some like drastic shit for him to be like, nah, I'm not touching her, right? she might not have to do a lot for you to be like, oh, I would never wife her, but she gonna have to do something kind of out of pocket for you to be like, I'm not sleeping, like I'm not touching her. Like there would have to be something that's like a red flag, right? You know what I'm saying? Like something like pretty big for you to be like, all right, I'm not gonna even touch her. You know what I mean? Whereas with women, it doesn't have to be that big of a deal for them to be like, no, I'm not gonna sleep with him. I'm not gonna sleep with him. Even though if you don't do anything like that, it will naturally lead to you guys being together. If you just allow it to, if you just be chill, she like you, you nonchalant, you don't do anything crazy, you don't do anything that turns her off, then it's going to lead to her wanting to sleep with you. And if you allow it, it's going to happen. And that's all due to infatuation. It's all due to infatuation. She's making you in her head, making you up to be who she wants you to be. And as long as you don't crush that imagination, crush that like that vision that she has of you, then it's going to lead you guys to being together in some way, form, or fashion. Now, you can mess it up, and this is what a lot of guys do, and this is why you need handsome man's game, is because you have to know how to play that nonchalant line. You have to know how to be chill, be cool, and just allow things to happen, right? That's the difference. You got to allow things to happen. Most game is you doing something and trying to get something to happen, and that's the strategy is more action oriented, whereas with handsome man's game it's more patience oriented. It's more like, okay, allow things to unfold naturally because this is already what she wants, and you're just not doing anything to mess it up. You're not doing anything to change the course, the natural course of what's going to happen. Now you can be action oriented if you know what you're doing, if you have game, right? If you have game, it's going to help you even more if you're handsome, right? Because then you'll know how to maneuver even better. You'll know how to like make things happen a certain way. You might not have to wait as long. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a bad thing to have game and use game if you're handsome. It's going to increase your chances. It's going to help you. But you have the luxury that if you don't happen to have that game, if you're not at that point yet, or if you don't care to learn game, like the full extent of game and how to do everything, you can rely on the fact that she will be infatuated with you, and you can be nonchalant. Allow a little bit of time to pass, let her get comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Let her do her thing, and it will happen. That is the luxury of being a handsome man in a woman's eyes. That's the luxury. It just doesn't require you to make something happen because it's the natural course is for it to happen already, because that's what she wants when she sees you. Right? So I just wanted to touch on that. Infatuation is a thing. You know, y'all have been infatuated with a woman before that has done nothing to deserve your infatuation, has done nothing, but you know, guys see her and they're just like, wow, she looks so good, and they, you know, imagine her as their wife, and they do, like, women do the same thing. They see a guy, they imagine him as their husband, they imagine him as their boyfriend, they imagine all these things. Like they live in a fairy tale more than us. We just do that with more girls. It's more girls that we can see and envision that with. But when they see the guy, right, that makes them feel that way, they do the same thing. And because they don't see it as often, they don't feel that way as often, it's deeper. It's deeper for them. Now, once they're older, they've been through that a few times. They got, you know, they've heartbroken, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, whatever bad experience they went through, then they're going to be on guard. And the reason they're on guard is because they know they're susceptible to having that reaction to a man. That's the only reason they're on guard, is because they're susceptible, and they know that they're susceptible to feeling that way for a guy just because of his looks. That's the whole reason. It happened before. Now they're hurt. Now they know I can't allow myself to get there with a guy like this because I know I won't be able to control myself. Right? So that's essentially, you know, the reason that they're fighting it, so they can avoid the infatuation. All right, fellas. So that's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Drop some more topics in the comment section. I got my coaching calls in the description box, Instagram in the description box. And y'all know what it is. It's mind over matter, marvel over matter. Let's get it.